Hi there, my name is Jason Williams, and in this video, as you can tell by the thumbnail, is about installing these lights, which are laser Sentinel Elite. Cool. Like I wanna the whole reason for this is I've been driving for a long time at night and all over the time, and I've always used Light Force HTX. I've always been a Light Force fan, and there's one issue with these lights, and it's the fact that the LED ring around the outside, as you see here, doesn't spread that far, and this pencil beam HID goes a very long way up the road, but there's like a blank spot between the LED and the HID. There's like a dark area, and apparently these don't have it. I've seen quite a few reviews and I was like, ooh, very excited, and that they weren't cheap. So I'm going to, in this video, do an install, very basic, and then test them out at night, because I've driven for many years with good lights. I've driven with light bars, I've driven with so many different things, but I want to see what they're like. They're supposed to be amazing. And I've got the wiring kit that came with it from Klarman Automotive, thanks Heiner, or Perth Pro. And obviously there's a set here, and I've also got something here. It's got a resistor in it. If required, I'll find that out as I go. It may be required, it may not be required. I think it will be, but I'll explain that as I get through it, because that's for LED lights, as in combination LED high beam. That's in here. You gotta, you can put LED in the high beam and the LED in the combination beam, and because 80 series are negatively switched, or a lot of old Land Cruisers like 80 series and some Hiluxes, and I think the 105 was as well, negatively switched, which was supposedly a good idea at the time, but they superseded it and realized that was no good. So that I might need that. I'll see how I go. Alright, I shall begin installing these. I might have to drill some extra holes and move these brackets, because these lights are a little bit bulkier than the HTX, and I might have to maneuver it and see how I go. Yeah, I'll probably drill a hole and paint them, and hopefully I don't have to weld on new tabs, but we'll see what happens. Let's begin. Alright, so I had to drill these out a little bit messy, and gave it a bit of paint on it, and the paint was a bit crappy, so hopefully it'll be alright. And yeah, this is easy. I'll fit these. There's going to be nothing to it, pretty much, and just make sure nothing interferes, because these lights are quite bulky at the rear, like through the middle of the brace, and the back here, and it's going to come very close to this top bar. So I'm going to have to make sure I step the forward in the right spot and then angle them in the right place. And that might take me a little while, and I'll take my time doing that, because the last thing I want is anything metallic bouncing or rubbing or vibrating, because that would really suck. And then comes the interesting part, which will be the wiring. And inside this bit on this time lapse, installing these lights actually took so much longer. This is like half the day, me fitting these. It was difficult in the sense that the brackets were not right. I had to make my way around it. As you see here, it's just a lot of shuffling backwards and forwards trying to get something to work, and then also trying to get a spanner in there to fit, which was near impossible. So I just battled with it, and I only recorded this little bit at the start, because after that I was like, well, no point recording this. It's taking far too long. But yes, in the end I did get there. Well, that's the headlights installed on there. It took me quite a lot longer, almost half this day to put them on, which sounds quite pathetic, doesn't it? Because this is quite an old ARB bar, the mounts were for different lights, and they were pretty basic. And I'd custom made some mounts to fit the HTX lights on there, and I had to modify them a bit to fit these lasers on there. So the next bit, which is the annoying, well, it's not annoying, it's just I'm not an electrician, but I'll figure it out, is the electrics. And what else have I got? Something else. There's something else there for those lights, the electrics, for the negatively switched part. But I'll explain that as it goes, wherever that went. Alright, let's begin the electrics. And in this bit is just running the cables. This was all, just took its time. Just take my time, just be quite relaxed. Just running it and testing it. Where is it going to fit? Where's it going to work? Will it get in the way of any other wires or any other accessories? And so I had to make sure everything was situated in such a way that it wouldn't interfere with something else, especially for something factory. You don't want to interfere with something that's factory. Alright, so I've not got the fuse in there, and what I'm going to do is test that everything works accordingly to how it should. So before I run these cables in there into the dash and mount that to a different switch, what I've got to do is test. This is a signal wire, and I've just got to check that this works. I'll put the fuse in there, and then I'm going to check that this works. But being that 80 series are negatively switched, and you have some problems with wiring lights up and high beams. Anyway, I've got this little plug that's made up. An electrician up north made this for me. And what it is, it's got a resistor in it. So it's just, it's really simple. You plug it into the H4 plug down here for the high-low beams, and this corrects the signal so that your lights and everything works properly. So I'll and what I'll do is, when I've plugged that in, I've got the fuse in, I'll plug this in and put it safely away, and then what I'll do is put this to one of the signals and see which one is requiring me to use, and once I figure out which one that is, which should be the red one, but it probably won't because it's negatively switched and a few other things, and I'll figure out which one it is, and when I've got that sorted, I'll be able to, I can do that now. I can unplug this because I should be able to reach this plug okay. So I'll get in here. Worst thing about having accessories and a few accessories on your vehicle is that after a while things get a little bit hard to reach. You gotta try and get to them. Thankfully that one unplugged okay. Stick this end in to that plug. So as long as I can get to that plug easy enough. Wherever you are, there you are. Alright. It's a 35 amp fuse. Seems like a lot. These cables are quite big. Everything should be fine. The switch, this relay is like a 40 amp relay, so it should be good because these lights do generate a lot of power, or they consume a lot of power. And so what I've got to do now, being that it's negatively switched, switch that switch on, and I'm going to find out which of these wires I want to be using. Alright, and so what happens here is one of these will be a signal. None of them came on, which is good. What I've got to do now, test the low beam. So with the low beam switched on, not that you can see that just yet, I've got to check that none of these make it come on. That does. Damn. That's not right. Now I've got to sit there and have a think about this. Work out whether there's a way. That made that high beam come on again. Stupid. Stupid. Wow. This is going to make an idiot of me. It's not working. Well, this was a bit of a rigmarole being, you know, I mean, I was trying a few different things, trying with some different globes. Anyway, you've got to make sure you have a halogen globe in here for this to work. I might have to try make a different resistor and make a different plug set later, but this will get them working. But it means I have a halogen globe in my combination beam, which it's supposed to have anyway. And, you know, the plug and all the wires are all just sort of sitting here. Nothing's mounted, but I'm, you know, getting a rough, when I'm happy with how it all sits, then I'll do something about it. But in the meantime, I will continue the wiring. It's working at the moment, but I'll show that to you at the end. And yes, they're on. They're mounted and wired up. The relay is there. It's a decent sized relay, isn't it? It's got some good sized cables, and then in the door, I'd, you know, obviously run the cables. I've neatened them up within reason. It's a bit chaos in here. There's a switch that I've wired in just here, and I've tested all works. Right, time to test it on the road. Alright, back to the low beam. This is the low beam in the 80 series. It's just a pair of candles really, and then this is the high beam with the LEDs, not the Sentinels on yet. So if I have that on and I turn the Sentinels on, my goodness! Are you serious right now? This is insane. Sentinels. They're nuts, stupidly big. You know, we just drive around and literally like, you know, just driving around, as I said, and they're wow bright. And so, thank you very much for watching, and I will aspire to see you in the next one.